and welcome to the Sound Off program. My name is Linda Kirker. I host the show, and if you tune in regularly, you already know that. But for those of you who don't tune in on a regular basis, I hope you will going forward, and we can get to know one another a little bit, although you're not here and I am. But you have the opportunity to call in. This is called Sound Off. And that means that I get to sound off, my guest gets to sound off, and because it's a call-in show, you also have the opportunity to sound off, call in, ask a question, make a comment, whatever you would like to do. So the phone number will be up in a little bit, but I wanted to start out by telling you a couple of things. One, I got an idea for the show recently. I've been talking with a number of people like I normally do, and I've discovered that a number of people have a story to tell. And so I've decided that periodically, maybe once a month, I will bring someone onto the program to share a story from their life, an uplifting, educational message about their life and how they managed to work their way through a difficulty or some kind of challenge in their life. And most of us have a story to tell, actually. Some people are more willing to do that than others, but I think it can be very helpful to you, the viewers, to hear someone's personal story and how they managed to survive tough times. I know I have my story, and maybe someday I'll share it. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do tonight. But before I introduce my guest, for those of you who didn't tune in last week, I have my little buddy back here. My little buddy I call Hero. And I do this as a tribute to our great nation, the United States of America. We're at a crossroads in this country now, and I think it's especially important that we respect our military, our police officers, law enforcement officers, and those whose role it is to protect not only our nation but us as individuals. There have been a lot of instances lately with police officers being murdered or injured by angry people, and one of the things I think we'll talk about tonight is what we can do about that. But in the meantime, before I introduce my guest, I want to play this little song for you.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I've worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave their right to me, and I'm glad to stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you, Hero. You did a good job. And I love this little guy, and I love his message. And we're very lucky to live in this country, and we need to teach that to our young people, to be proud of this country and our history, and to learn the appropriate history that they can be proud of. And one more little thing, this book has all the words to this song, God Bless the USA, Proud to be an American, and it's for children with all the illustrations in it and the words to the song. And I think we need to get that out to as many young people, teachers, homeschoolers, as we can, and parents. So with that, I'll put our little Hero over here and introduce my guest. He's a first-time guest on the program. His name is Art Harrington. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Linda.
Art and I just met recently, and we attend the same church, and that's where we met. And I had a chance to get to know him a little bit. I'm a talker, and so is he. So we shared a few things and decided maybe it would be nice to have him on the program to share with you. So Art, first of all, it's a pleasure to know you. I know your wife Judy
Yes.
a little bit longer and a little bit better than I know you, but she's something else.
She's a pistol.
She is. She's cute as a button and just as, has a big heart.
She does exactly what a wife should do, and that is she levels me out. She balances me.
Keeps you straight, huh?
Yes, definitely.
Well, relationships are really interesting, aren't they?
Yes.
There are all kinds of relationships in this world, and I've been married more than once, and I know that there can be challenges, but it can be worth the effort to learn and to grow together, to learn from one another and from the experiences that you have together and all that. So I wanted to ask you, let you talk instead of me for a change. You grew up in St. Albans. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Went to a Christian school, private Christian school, and then I went to BFA my freshman year, and I was a loner, studied a lot, had a lot of family problems, and was alone, really didn't feel like I connected with anyone, and my solution to that was to join a gang.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I really wasn't a bad kid, but I was going to do whatever I had to do to get connected.
To belong, right?
Yes, and so when I was a young boy, this gang said that I needed to break into this home.
Oh boy.
Happened to be a U.S. Marshal's home in broad daylight.
Oh.
And being the wonderful thief that I am, I had to get something from this house and get out real fast and prove that I was in there. Well, I saw a jar of change on his dresser, and this U.S. Marshal didn't make his bed too well.
Mm-hmm.
I tripped on his bedspread. The money went flying through the air.
Oh my goodness.
And I flew down the stairs. Out the door I went, grabbed a handful of change, and 2 hours later I was at the police station turning myself in, thinking I was heading for the big house.
So you turned yourself in.
Sure did.
They didn't have to come. You had a revival of your conscience.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was brought up, my parents brought me up in the church, and they brought me up right, and I did have a conscience, and I realized right after I did it that I messed up, I did the wrong thing, and I was willing to make it right. Well, Al Barber, along with the police station, decided that he would not press charges as long as I did something good for the community.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a little time to think about it before I went to juvenile hall, and decided that I wanted to be a youth missionary. And so
at that time, how old were you?
I was a freshman in high school.
Wow.
So I was right at about 16 years old, 16, 17 years old. So I went to Zihuatanejo, Mexico with Teen World Outreach my first summer.
How did that get arranged? Through your church?
I raised my funds, and I had people in the church that supported me, and Church the Rock supported me. And
you go way back there.
I was the first kid in the church other than the pastor's kids. Yes.
No kidding.
Yes, I was.
I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And I raised funds through bake sales, bike-a-thons, asking people to support me. And then I went, and what I did was I worked as a laborer in Zihuatanejo, Mexico. We built a parsonage for a pastor down there, a missionary pastor, and it changed my life. It really did. It made me feel like I was included in something that really mattered.
And you were doing something of value.
Yes, that stuck with me for the rest of my life, and it really gave me the moral courage to push on, no matter what other people were doing. I knew what was right, and that's stuck with.
All too often, I think, with young people, they have this desire to be a part of the in group or
Definitely.
some group, you know, to belong. And I mean, we all want to be accepted and belong, but when that desire to be a part of something includes what you experienced, a negative,
Yeah.
you know, asking you to do something illegal to belong to this gang, you know, that's scary.
I think one of the major problems we're having today is that parents, the economy is so tough, the price of things is so expensive.
It really is.
That both parents have to work. They're pushing at both ends. They're exhausted when they get home. The kids are going to school. They're coming to a babysitter or a youth center after school, or sometimes not at all. They're hanging out on the streets. And there's no direction. There's no foundation. I can honestly say I have to thank my mom for really giving me a solid foundation in Jesus Christ, and giving me. I had grandparents that gave me very great morals, and my grandfather, you know, told me that when you're wrong, you're wrong, and when you're right, you're right. There's no gray area.
And there is a right and a
yes,
wrong, which
definitely.
is today in today's society, it's all being blurred.
Yes,
You know, it's
exactly.
all gray. Well, it's not really wrong. You know, there's this person went through this experience, so we have to tread lightly. You know, a person doesn't learn a lesson
Right.
when you make it easy for them to do the wrong thing. And you know, we have an obligation, I think, with our own children, grandchildren, and neighborhood kids, whatever, you know, nieces and nephews, what have you, to help to ingrain, to reinforce the strong moral values, the strong principles of how to survive in life
Right.
in a healthy way.
Well, I think the problem is that people are losing touch, okay, with their kids. The kids are losing trust with their parents. The parents are trying their best. They love their kids. They want what's best. But by the time the kids are out of control, the kids have lost trust in their parents, and they're listening to the wrong people and looking the wrong way, and then it's too late.
The children, in that case, are really vulnerable
Very.
to people who would steer them in the wrong direction.
And they're out there. They're definitely out there.
Especially today.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole different world than what I grew up in.
Well, you know, when I was younger, like I said, I turned myself into the police.
That was great.
Okay. The reason I turned myself into the police is because I respected the police. Okay, I was taught to say yes sir, no ma'am. I was taught to do what I was told to do. Right? The problem today is there's no respect. No respect for police, no respect for service people, no respect for your parents, no respect for yourself.
Where does all that come from? Does it come initially from the home and the value system, the standards that I learned came from my family?
And I think that really is where it starts, because when we started taking God out of the foundation, okay, of everything. I'm talking about school, I'm talking about prayer in school, I'm talking about your home, the whole thing. That's where we started going downhill. Okay, God has to be our foundation, and we have to lean on Him. And we also have to have common respect for each other and have common respect for yourself. The fact is, if you are willing to do things that are illegal, things that are going to hurt yourself, and you really don't respect yourself, you're not going to respect anybody else. You know, and you look at the stuff that is happening, you know, in Missouri and Maryland and all these places. The reason it's happening is you have a very small group of people that are going against the common grain, okay? But what's happening is that small group is getting larger and larger because they feel like they're being heard. Well, they're not being heard. All we're looking at, most people are looking at them and shaking their heads like, what is going on?
This is animalistic behavior.
Exactly.
It's not based on respect or gratitude or
Not what America's about.
a work ethic
No.
or, you know, and you know what, I won't go into detail here, I'll make it short. But there was a time in my life, thankfully, I was raised in a good family with parents who set standards and guidelines for what was okay, what wasn't okay, what was expected of me.
Right.
Having high expectations,
Yeah.
and the work ethic. I always had jobs at home, even from an early age.
Yeah.
But there came a time as an adult when I was in a very difficult situation. And what I had to figure out was, how was this going to be resolved when I'm scared to death and I have a major life decision to make? And after a lot of soul searching, it came to me that whatever was going to be in my life and my children's life going forward was up to me.
Exactly. Well, you know, everything, I think, you know, the God that we serve, okay, is a God of free will. Okay, He respects us.
And
okay?
the Constitution provides that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Our country was built on that. Okay, and the fact is that we have choices if we're going to respect, if we're going to love each other, if we're going to be kind to each other,
or cruel,
or be downright animalistic, as you say. You know, the fact is, it's our responsibility, especially as adults, to bring these kids up, okay, the right way, the godly way, okay? Once they're of age, they want to break the rules, they want to do whatever, that's fine.
they're going to test.
Right, they're going to test, but the whole thing is, if they have the right foundation, just like I did, okay, my mother brought me up correctly, okay?
Mine did too.
And the fact is, no matter if you waver from the truth, okay, God is always going to bring you back, okay, especially when you have a praying mother like I have.
If your head and your heart are open,
There you go.
and you're willing to do the work.
Exactly.
And the thing is, Art, that the stronger you make yourself, the more you can be of service to others, and you can be a solid citizen, a solid person for your own family, for your own future. And it's not easy. It's not always easy. Sometimes it's really tough. You're on a path, like you were, briefly, that is not a positive for your life. And I know there are a lot of people out there today, whether it be drugs or, you know, some other kind of addiction, abusive situations, neglect situations, lack of respect, all of these things. But I think we're here to say that there are choices. Like you said, there are options. You don't have to stay on that path.
I think that the biggest thing that we're missing is we forgot about love. You know, common respect is love. You know, when you look at somebody and you see an elderly person come out of a store, and instead of helping them with their bags or opening the door for them or whatever, we just watch them. We're just ignoring them, okay? Well, me neither. But what I'm saying is, if you look at common people today, they'd rather not get involved, okay? And that's the biggest mistake we're making, not getting involved. We have to get involved in these kids' lives. If you know a kid that's troubled, if you know a kid that is messing up, it's your responsibility to take them aside with love and respect and treat them like a person.
Yep.
But at the same time, give them some guidance, you know?
I'm all for that. You mentioned that our pastor has asked you, if you don't mind my mentioning, to work with the youth and in our church.
Yep.
And I feel that's an excellent, wonderful thing. And I have a few things that I might like to come in occasionally and pitch an idea, or, you know.
We have wonderful kids. We have
supportive.
wonderful kids that love Jesus, and they, you know, the fact is, if their foundation's right, the rest of their life is going to be right. And I'm a prime example of that. You know, I went out, I got married, you know, I got a wonderful wife. She and I were very successful on the road. We were truck drivers, over the road truck drivers, did specialized freight.
The big
Rigs,
what
yes.
are those called?
Tractor trailers.
Yeah. 22. I don't know.
18 wheels.
18
wheels. I drive 22 now, so.
Wow.
But we did all customized freight and you know, all kinds of different stuff, but we travel all around the country and we saw a lot of people that needed
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Needed support. We have a caller, and I'd like to get the phone number up there. I don't know if it's been up there yet. 527-6449. Caller, welcome to the show. What's on your mind tonight?
Good evening, Linda.
Hi there, Norm. How you doing?
I see you have an open show, do you?
Yes, sir.
Well, okay. Let me bring something up.
Sure.
Doesn't it seem unusual to you that there's becoming more and more police shootings
Indeed.
as we speak, day by day now?
Yes.
So what do we do about that?
What do we do? Well, that's a great question.
Well, who's to blame for that?
Why don't you tell us what you think?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think the blame belongs in Washington, D.C., along with the Justice Department and the Executive Department. As a matter of fact, this country has become so divided now that people are shooting police officers as an everyday occurrence. So now the anti-gun folks, the left, would like to disarm America and make it harder to get guns. Well, in so doing, what they're going to end up doing is they're going to disarming Grandma and Grandpa America, as America is getting older as we speak. And some of these folks now are in their 70s and 80s, and the only means they have of defending themselves are with a firearm in their home.
Well, that is that approach and many others, but that one in particular, disarming the people, as you know, Norm, comes from the United Nations.
Well, it leads from there, correct.
Yes, and we you know what it comes down to, Norm, and you know this. It's we the people who have.
And in order to get their agenda done, to get to the New World Order, if you would, with the hidden government, that's one of the major things they need to do. They had to have health insurance controlled by the one single source, the government, and they need to control the guns.
And the education.
And the education, excuse me.
They're doing
and
that too.
the military.
And the military, that's right. There's actually 4 or 5 factions in there,
Well,
and they've already done the health care thing. As a matter of fact, they drugged one senator up on the up through the well, not senator. Well, yeah, through the steps in a snowstorm for that one singular vote to give us health care that we didn't want, and we're still fighting health care to this day.
Well, when you bring up a point, when your federal government does not show respect and support for the agencies or the entities like the military and the police, when there's no respect at the national level, at the leadership level, then that trickles down. They don't enforce things. They don't support these entities.
Yeah.
Military leaders are, with years and years of experience, are leaving the military, or they're being let go because they won't play the game with the government.
Well, this president and his administration, things they don't like, they just ignore.
Well, let me ask you. You started out with a question, Norm, and then we'll proceed with Art's story here. But you said, what can we do?
Well, people can become more educated and actually vote. And I don't mean vote for the popular name people. Bernie Sanders just made a statement how the blacks are being dragged out of their cars by police officers. That don't help matters out. Bernie should know better than that.
Well, we have a certain element of people who have a voice in this country who are doing things that are inciting people to rise up and be less than what we would hope of American citizens. There's a lot of divisiveness going on that is totally unnecessary.
Exactly. As Dr. Ben Carson says, and I like Dr. Carson,
I do
he
too.
says that
Me too.
Our fight isn't amongst one another. Our fight is with Washington.
And
that's a fantastic way to put it.
it is.
Of course, he is a brain surgeon, so.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's good to hear from you. I'll have to get you on the show one of these days.
Okay.
But I thank you so much. You bring up a lot of great points. And
how we're going to be able to correct this situation is people need to vote responsibly, not just vote for a popular named item. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm having a hard time with parties now. The parties are actually taking and join one another. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the party of the American. That's the party I belong to.
the party of America.
Yeah.
The party of the Constitution.
That's right.
I'm with you. We'll talk about that when you come on the show.
Okay, Linda.
All right. Thanks for the call, Norm.
Bye.
Take care. He's a former military.
I agree with him.
Through the National Guard.
I agree
so
with
do
him.
I.
You know, but the respect starts in the White House. Okay.
Oh, sure. The leadership
Yeah.
sets the tone
Yeah.
for the whole country. And when you have a president who's not respecting the Constitution,
Or the police.
or the police, or the military,
all the way down.
all
That's
the way
it.
down,
All
or
trickles.
the American people,
Yeah, that's right.
then we're in deep trouble.
Yes.
And we're on a precipice in this country. I talk about these things all the time on this show because whoever's listening, I hope they're paying attention. When before you give your precious vote to any person, you ask them questions about issues that you think are important, and you don't tell them how you feel.
Exactly.
You ask them how they feel and what they would do.
I agree.
And then you decide whether that person warrants your vote or not.
Yep.
We have to be participating people in this society. Now I'm off my soapbox.
It's okay. It's all good.
So, where were we?
Well, my wife and I, we were owner-operators. We owned our own truck and trailer.
Wow.
We were extremely successful. And we had a home out in West Shore Road in Elburg, right on the waterfront. And we were gone all the time. We were gone more than we were there. And
Work.
yeah, 2013, July of 2013, we came home for a cookout. I had rented a tent. We roasted a pig. We invited a bunch of people, and my wife was in the middle of dying, and we didn't know it. She was very sick. We did the cookout. On the 5th, she went and saw a specialist, and she come home. She said, "Art, I got bad news for you," and I said, "Let me have it." I got 10% usage of my kidneys.
Both of them?
Yeah, just 10%. That was it, total. And she was dying. She literally was dying. So we sat down with the doctors and everything. We knew that our trucking days were over. And I knew my trucking days were over. I wasn't going to go out on the road with my wife not with me.
Absolutely not.
We had done everything together up to that time, and we weren't going to change.
Right.
So
What a shock, huh?
it was a shock, and I was mad. I was mad at God. I was mad at, see, I thought that I was in control. I thought I was on the top of the hill. Nothing could touch me. I thought we had it going on. I had a plan. My plan was working, and God showed me. Okay, God
Who's
showed
in
me
charge?
that He gave it all to me, and He took it all away. But what He gave me back was 10 times better than what I had. Okay. And
How so?
well, we sat down with the doctors. We decided that we wanted to put Judy on PD dialysis at home. I had to learn how to use the machines and learn how to take care of Judy. And Judy was very, very sick. And at the same time, learn a new job. A few years before, I had told Judy driving down the road, I said, I will never be a tanker driver. Never haul a tanker. Well, never say never, Linda, because I'm a gas hauler now. and I had to learn a new job. Not only learn a new job, but learn multiple places to deliver,
Oh, sure.
different fills. Then the snow came, and the snow
Fun
covers the fills, and
Oh, boy.
I was very, very stressed. And I mean, it was
Well,
just
at home and
Oh, yeah,
a new
everything.
job is always stressful.
everything. And Judy, I was mad at God, and I showed it. I told my brother that I was angry with God, I was angry with church, I was angry at people, I was angry, period.
You
right?
felt out of control.
Yes, oh, definitely.
And we don't like that. If we're used to, if you have a strong work ethic and you apply yourself and you think you're doing the right things,
right.
you have this feeling, you know, maybe success comes to you, have this feeling that everything should go according to your plan, right?
And I thought I was in control, and God showed me different, you know. But in the meantime, I was so mad, and I wasn't really paying attention. He used my brother to tell me, say, Art, you need to just talk to God, and you need to let go, because God didn't make your wife sick, okay? The world, we live in a sinful world, okay, and things happen in this world, right? It's not God's doing.
Bad things happen to good people.
Yes,
there's a book
definitely.
by that title.
But the difference is that when we believe in God and we love God and we trust God for our very being, right, He comes back and He shows us and He builds us back up. And that's exactly what happened with Judy.
Helps us to build ourselves
well,
back.
It gives us the strength.
Yes.
Okay. Judy, April 1st of 2014, Judy got a transplant. Okay. We got a call. Judy had just done her dialysis. I had just come home from work.
That was what year, 14?
2014.
Wow.
And the team called and said, Art, this is an April Fool's joke. We need Judy in here ASAP. We got a kidney for her.
And where was this?
This was at Fletcher Allen.
Okay.
Okay. So I woke Judy up. I said, honey, it's not April Fool's joke, and you got your kidney. And we were right sort of waiting, you know, because they said there's possibility it might not go, right? So we were praying.
You mean rejection?
Well, no, that the kidney might not be a match.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it not only was a match, it's a known fact that when you get a kidney transplant, that usually they have to do dialysis to get the kidney flowing through your urine tract and so on. Judy was putting out a liter and a half of pee the first day.
Wow.
Okay, and she was just amazing, and we knew it was God. We knew that God's hand was on her, and this whole thing brought Judy and I closer together. And I realized how much I really had in my wife, that she was all that mattered to me, and God gave her back to me, and it's definitely that way.
Well, I can see the love between the two of you. You know, it's a wonderful thing to behold.
Well, God is awesome, and I do give Him all the glory, you know, but not only that, Medicaid and Medicare. Well, Judy. What was it? She got approved for Medicaid initially. Then they came back after she got her kidney, and after the medicine was a lot of money, they came back and said that, Art, you make too much money. We're going to have to pull Medicaid. And there was no way that I could cover the cost, right? So I'm praying, and I said, Lord, the company I was working with, you know, the gas company, their insurance was terrible. I just got to say it the way it is, you know. And I prayed, Lord, give me a company that they really care about their drivers and they give back, and that I'll be proud to work for this person. And I got that job. And I quit on a Monday, got hired on a Tuesday.
Wow.
They not only picked me up, right, but my insurance, Judy's Medicare, is secondary now to my Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Wow.
And if you don't mind, I like to say that company because I
think that's
I work for SB Collins, and I am very honored to work for SB Collins. Bruce Jolly is an awesome man, and he gives back to his people.
Well, you know, that's a great thing to hear.
Yeah.
I think that employers who do well by their employees. You know, there's an old saying that the Japanese, how is it, believe that if you invest in your people, they will invest in you.
Exactly.
Yes. And that's a great philosophy to have. It's about treating people right.
Yes.
It's about respecting people.
There you go.
It's back to that word again.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's so important. Well, good for them. And great for you and for Judy.
I turned around. We lost our home. We lost our truck and trailer, and
because you couldn't continue.
Well, there was no way. I mean, there was no way of making that kind of payment. I mean, we went from making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to less than $100,000 a year, and it was the best thing that happened, though, because I can honestly sit here and tell you that all those years I was pushing to keep up with the Joneses and be something that I didn't have to be. I didn't have to prove anything to anybody.
Right.
You know.
Or
God,
yourself.
Or myself. God gives us the strength to do exactly what He wants us to do. And He gives us the tools that we need to do exactly what He wants us to do. And we don't have to worry about anything.
But we have to have the clarity of mind, the will,
yes,
the
and the
desire, the faith,
yes,
to and the heart and the mind to be open.
Yeah.
To the opportunities that are there, that are in front of us. But
Right.
so many times people are distracted or addicted or you know, when we're struggling, it's hard to see sometimes, you know, but I'm a believer. I am a believer. I believe that church, a good church, I mean, I have a lot of respect for the Church of the Rock. I see how many young people are there. I started crying one day. They had all these young people up front. I usually sit toward the back, and it was when they had a special weekend for the young people, and they had them at all ages. And the older ones made, I don't know if you were there.
I was there.
They made an arch,
Yes.
and the little kids went through, and it just touched my heart that there were so many young people in church, which is what we need today.
The young people are our future. See, that's where we're missing it
Absolutely.
out. You know, the whole thing is if we teach them now. See, that gentleman caller that called in, right? He's saying, what caused this? I'll tell you what caused it. We don't respect people. The White House doesn't respect people. Then it goes down to state government. They don't respect people. Then it goes down to city government. They don't respect people. And then it trickles down to the family. And if the family's not right, if the family doesn't trust God, okay, and the family doesn't do the moral thing, the right thing, and the husband doesn't take care of the wife, okay, and treat her the right way, okay? And I'm not talking about beating her and slapping her and yelling at her and all that, but loving her and be an example to the rest of his family.
Being helpful and respectful and
The whole
kind,
thing.
thoughtful.
Exactly.
You don't have to have a lot of money to do that.
No, you don't.
You can be
Not at
dirt poor.
Yeah.
And I was talking with someone today who grew up on a farm, and he was telling me, we were poor, but we didn't know we were poor. And I said, you know why? Because you had the love and respect of family.
That's right.
That's the foundation.
Yeah.
And the other thing when we're talking about families and about individuals, so important that, and this is my thing, that people understand our Constitution, the supreme law of our land, which protects us if we work for that protection by being knowledgeable about what our rights are and what this country is meant to be, and electing people who will respect that.
Exactly.
Sorry, now we'll get
back. I agree 100%. You know, the whole thing, though, is if the husband in the family, right, is doing the right thing, the wife will automatically do the right thing.
Well, we
and
would
then
hope so.
Then the kids are going to follow suit because they're going to see two loving people that are God-fearing, that are hard-working, and they're teaching their kids by example what they're supposed to be. Now, I just described my grandparents. I just described the people, your parents, you see, but that's what we're going away from. We're saying, hey, if it feels good, it's okay. Well, that isn't true.
And it's not all about me.
No, it isn't. It's all about us. It's about everybody. It's about looking at other people and asking yourself, what can I do to make a difference? Okay? You see a child in your church or in your neighborhood, your neighbor, whatever, and you see that child that you can make a difference in that kid's life, step up. You know, that's the deal. That's the difference.
And if it's not in church If it's on the street,
anywhere.
You know, when I see I saw a little boy. Where was I? Oh, I was at a funeral last week, and this little boy, about this high, was wearing a suit. And I went up to him and I said, "You look so handsome and smart." I said, "Good for you." And he said, "Well, this is my dance." He takes dancing lessons. "This is my dance suit." You know, but he was proud. And just to not falsely give praise, because that doesn't help anything.
No.
Then people think there's something they're not.
Exactly.
But
we need to make kids proud again. We need to make them believe in America like we believe in America.
Absolutely.
America is still the best country in the world, okay?
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter what form of government we have, right up to the president, okay? We need God-fearing people. We need people that care about people. I don't care about politics. I don't care about who I make angry. The fact is, we need to stop being politically correct and just take care of people. Our senior citizens are hungry, okay? Our kids are hungry. People are going without, you know, everything.
And, you know, I mean, our church and we as individuals support Martha's Kitchen and so forth, okay? And, you know, we each in turn take things over there, and I enjoy doing that. But government has created a scenario where more and more people are unemployed because businesses are leaving, all right, because taxes are too high and regulations are burdensome. So the businesses leave, the people don't have jobs.
Right.
And so then what happens? Government steps in with taxpayer dollars and is providing something for everybody.
And it's running out.
It's run out, and we're creating a dependent society.
Yep.
What would be better is to say, we're going to work with you. You know, what are your skills? What are your likes? What would you like to do with your life? But we have to bring the businesses here, and as long as we're functioning the way we are as a state, they're not going to come here and pay higher energy costs, higher taxes, and some businesses say they can't find workers because they do a drug test. And
that's a big problem. But you know, the thing is, you give a man a fish, he can eat for a day. You teach a man how to fish, he can eat for the rest of his life. And that is, you know, basically we're missing it. Okay, we're missing the point of the fact that we need the entrepreneur, the small businessman, he needs to be backed by our government. Instead, he's being slammed right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that small businessman, he's the one that is hiring people, and they're going to bring back.
And they're local.
That's exactly what we need. But
yes.
we got these big companies coming in, okay, taking out these little entrepreneurial mom and pop shops, and really that's what Vermont's made of. You know, that's what made Vermont great, is those little mom and pop shops.
Yes, and independence and integrity and a strong work ethic. Yes.
Hard work.
I mean, that was ingrained into me as a child.
Yeah.
My mother was work.
When I was a kid, you know, my mom, she didn't know where it came from, because I'd go out and I loved when it snowed, right? And because when it snowed, I saw dollar signs. I'd get up before school and I would do driveways, right? And on my way home, I pulled my shovel along with me and I begged people to let me do their driveways.
Yeah.
And I made money.
Sure,
you know?
you did.
In the summer, I had a man that had me paint his shed, and he gave me his old broken down riding lawnmower. And I mean, this thing was an old clunker.
Oh boy.
I broke that thing down, learned how to rebuild it. I built it back up, and I started a lawnmower business.
See, you had the drive. You had that curiosity and that will to learn and to make some money so you could have a little bit of independence, or just feel great that you were able to accomplish that.
Well, I paid for my own school clothes, you know, or I helped. You know, if you know, my mom worked very hard when I was younger, and she's the one who taught me my work ethic.
Mine
did
too. I had to make my clothes.
Yeah.
4th grade, I started in sewing class, which I don't think they offer in school anymore today. But I took sewing for 4th grade through 11th grade. And so I earned the money through babysitting to buy the fabric, and then my mother, helped me to sew. And that skill helped me sew through the years. I could make all kinds of things.
Yep.
And that made me feel good too.
Yeah, give self-worth.
Yes, everything you accomplish on your own is a building block for your self-confidence, your self-esteem. And when we're doing everything for people, they're not having that opportunity.
Well, if you listen to young kids today, I love going to Walmart, right? And a lot of young people work at Walmart, and especially during the summer. And you talk to them, oh, I don't need to do that. I'm only here for a couple months. And the whole thing is the ethic, okay, the work ethic.
You're here to serve.
You have to really give everything you do, all you got. And if you do, it will come back and it'll be good for you, right?
Absolutely.
But the problem is we're not instilling that into our children.
Well, how do you and I do that?
Well, by example, for one.
Yes.
Kids today are a lot smarter than you think they are. They're watching everything you do.
They learn by
everything
watching.
You say, everything you do. They're going to act like it's trained behavior. Kids, parents, oh, I don't know why my kid's cussing like that. Well, they're cussing like that. They're cussing like that because they've heard it. It's learned behavior. Okay? If they got an attitude, we have to look at ourselves. Do we have an attitude? Are we portraying an attitude towards our kids? Are we treating them with respect? Are we treating them like little people that they are?
What kind of behavior are we modeling for our kids?
There you go.
Because you're right. They watch their parents.
Yes.
They watch the other people close to them, and then that's how they learn to live.
If we don't turn things around right now, and we don't get our young kids with a good foundation in God and a good work ethic, taking responsibility, okay? I have never heard of kids today having chores. Their parents give them money, but they don't earn it.
No, well, that's not good.
And that is exactly what happens when they leave home after they finish college. They get a degree that's not worth anything.
Think somebody owes them
somebody else
something.
is going to give them something else, and that's
We're
where our
creating-
government's coming in.
Yep,
Okay,
I agree with you.
And we need to stop that. We need to turn things around and teach these kids, okay, responsibility, and that there is no such thing as a free lunch. That you make
there
choices
is today.
Yeah, but if you make bad choices, you are going to deal with the consequences. Okay, I mean,
But we're leading them down that path.
yes,
The adults are leading the schools, even
yep.
the government leading.
Starts in the government.
Yes.
It all goes down.
Yes.
So-
And you know what? This country is $19 trillion, give or take, in debt.
Yes.
So where's the accountability? Where's the service to the citizens? That means fiscal accountability, being wise with the money of the people.
Well, our president's answer is make some more money. We'll
We'll take some more money.
Yeah. That's the president's answer, and the fact is, it's almost time to pay the piper.
It's very, very close. We're like teetering like this on the edge of a cliff, this country. The other thing is, when you have high schools where it's Cinco de Mayo,
Yes.
is the holiday, so to speak, for the Mexicans or whatever, Spanish, and some of the American kids came into school with an American flag, they made them take them off or go home and remove the shirt.
Yes.
This is the United States of America.
Yep.
You come here, come legally. We'd love to have you. You contribute to our society. You learn our language. You
Pay taxes.
pay
you work.
taxes. Yes.
Pay into the system.
You learn our language especially.
Yeah.
And you make a contribution. And you learn about our laws and you obey them.
Yeah.
But if you come here illegally to start with, you already have set the tone that you don't respect our people and our country.
Yep.
But we're not respecting our people and our country because we don't have secure borders.
That's right. You know, the fact is, you look at China. China has a big wall, right? You look at all these countries. The fact is, we don't have a big wall. You know why we don't have a big wall? Because there's a lot of revenue being made on those illegal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
The government is getting a kickback, okay? And the government doesn't want to own up to the fact that they're taking these illegal immigrants are taking jobs away from Americans. You know,
not only that, we have 100,000 of them who are incarcerated.
Oh, yeah.
At how much a year?
That we're paying for.
We're paying for, and many of them are on EBT cards, and we're educating their children. You know, we can't keep doing that. You know, it sounds like the kind thing to do, but when your own people are paying a huge price for that, including the decline of the American family because of the loss of jobs, then we're doing things backwards, and we need to roll that, you know, in another direction and elect the right people.
We need to take care of our own. Okay, we need
Charity
to take care
begins
of,
at home.
Yeah, we need to take care of our senior citizens. Okay, we need to honor them because we wouldn't have Social Security today if it wasn't for those people, the same people that are being hurt with it now. Okay, and we need to take care of our senior citizens. We need to take care of our vets. The fact is, this country would not be free if it wasn't for vets. Okay, I mean, I'm a vet.
A strong military is the best offense.
Exactly. The reason that we are as powerful a nation as we are is two reasons. One is because in God we trust. Okay, that's what we were built on. Okay, we trusted in the principles and the morals that God, our founding fathers, believed in God.
Absolutely.
And suddenly now, after, you know, all this time that worked, now those same principles are no good anymore.
Well, there's an agenda out there
It's not right.
that's ruining this country, and we have to get back on track in a hurry.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we have gone from A to Z here.
Yes, we have.
And we didn't intend to do that. But anything else, Judy is doing well, your lovely
Wonderful.
wife, Judy.
She's doing wonderful.
You two have made some accommodations by selling your home and your business,
Yep.
and having a different home, and you're active in the church, both of
Very,
you.
Very.
And so it's a story of a trial, you know,
Yes.
and being willing to make the changes necessary to accommodate the situation. And because of your love and support, and I know your wife Judy well enough to know that she would have done the same for you.
Yes, she would have. Without a doubt.
Yep. And so where's the man for me that's like that?
He's out there, Linda.
Oh, I know,
he's out there.
pretty far away.
Oh, don't say that. He could be right around the corner.
Maybe
you know?
I don't pray enough, huh?
Well, I wouldn't say that either. You know,
I pray
you'll
for
get it.
everybody else.
That's it. But
Well, so anything else? You were in the military.
yep, I served, and I overall, you know, I feel like Jonah. I feel like I started as a little boy in Church of the Rock. I should have been a pastor. I feel there's a calling on my life, and then I ran, and I went into the military. I became a truck driver, done everything. Now I feel like I've just been spit up on the land.
You've come around full
I've come around full circle. I'm back in my hometown. I'm happy to be here. I am studying to be a pastor.
Fantastic.
I believe that God desires for me to work for Him, and I have a real desire just to help people, you know, just love people where they're at, and it's not about judging people. It's about just loving them where they're at, and showing them that God will take them right where they're at and make them what He wants them to be.
There's another way, as I keep saying, if your head and your heart are open to it.
Yes.
And so many times we close off, we think we're in control, like you said, and then we miss the opportunity. So you've come full circle, Art,
Yeah.
Now you're pursuing becoming a pastor,
and
I think you'll be a great one.
I hope.
And our church is lucky to have you there. I know you participate as Judy does, and we there's such a huge role for churches in our society today, and they're not, by and large, they're not picking it up.
That's right.
And doing what needs to be done, and I don't know how we shake them up.
It's all about choice. It's all about deciding that you're going to step up and you make the difference
And take a risk.
Yes.
Because there
make
is
a
a risk.
Oh yeah.
Because some people may not like it.
That's right. Well.
And you may lose some of your parishioners.
Exactly.
But what's right is right. And when when you're a Christian person and you believe in certain things, then you have an obligation.
Yes. Definitely. You said the key word, obligation. We need to step up and we need to make a difference.
Yes, we do. No, we have 2 minutes left. So, what do you want to say to our hero?
No, I think that we have wonderful soldiers and military people, and I believe that we need to be kind to each other. We need to look to make a difference.
Do you know what? When I'm in a store, out on the street, wherever I might be, I see one of our National Guard, from the local unit, armory, in uniform. It doesn't matter where I am. I go up, I either put my hand on their shoulder or shake their hand and say, thank you so much for your service, without fail.
Yes.
And I think that more people, I'm sure other people do it, I know they do, but I think we need to show our respect and appreciation, and right now, these people are targeted.
Yeah, not just the vets, though, the police.
Absolutely.
All the civil servants, we need to step up and we need to show them extra respect and let them know that we care.
And that we support them.
100%.
And whatever it's going to take to make them safer.
That's right. That's what we need to do.
But you know what? It's creating a healthier environment that will help to make them safer. Right. And that means the drug problems have to be addressed in the right way, not in a way that, we have to be nicer to them. Yeah, they have a big problem. And
let it play correct.
Exactly. I can't stand it.
Forget it. Forget it. Out the door.
So, anyway, I love doing this show.
You do it very well.
Well, thank you. Because it's an opportunity for myself and my guests to connect with the viewers. I always appreciate it when they let me know in the store or on the street that they watch the show. It makes me realize it is worth doing.
Yes.
And thank you so much for coming on the program.
Anytime.
You're
Thanks,
a
Linda.
great guy. You're going to be a great pastor.
Thank you.
And I love your wife.
I do too. I do
She's a
too.
sweetheart. So you're a good pair.
Yes,
so with that, folks, I'm going to close down for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. And next week I will be back. So you have a great week in the meantime. Good night.